Hey, what's going up, you foodies? I know you guys are going to be like, this probably is not going to be done, or it's not possible, but, I feel confident myself. So today, I'm going to be trying to best, I would say, I don't know if it's world known, but it's definitely known in the US. I'm trying to take down the beloved Cinnabon. So, without further ado, let's cue the intro, get your apron on, and let's go. With this list, normally everything's found in the store, but I say I would have most of these things in my normal pantry anyway, so this should be pretty easy. Now, with this dough, what I tried to do, I tried to mimic what Cinnabon has with the whole bread dough. So with this, I combined two different techniques, which is scalding the milk, which is gonna help make some of that super soft. We're gonna let this cool down to below 100 degrees, and then we use the tang jiao, which is pretty much 5 tablespoons of water, 5 tablespoons of milk, and 3 tablespoons of flour. You're gonna mix that up until it becomes a little, pretty much like a pudding. So you're gonna cook that down until it gets like that, and we're gonna add that to the dough as we mix everything. Now everything is cooled down and ready to go. We're going to go ahead and throw our yeast and sugar into the actual milk, and we're going to set that aside for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes till it gets a little bubbly. You're going to pretty much take all of our dry ingredients themselves and mix them and incorporate them. Once the yeast is ready, we're going to go ahead and start adding all of our wet ingredients and everything. Get everything incorporated. Don't forget to actually scrape down the bowls too. This is gonna help make sure the dough is nice and mixed. You don't got big clumps of random dough or flour you're biting into. When I start to see everything start to come together, I'm going to start kneading this by hand. I just like to knead stuff by hand. I like to get the texture, make sure I get the right feel for the dough itself. You don't have to do this. You can keep using your dough arm. So here, don't be skimpy on this. Flour is a high hydration dough. Adding some more flour, it's not going to mess it up. And I'm going to knead this for about 3 to 5 minutes or until I get the smooth texture that I want. Now I'm going to shape this into a little bit of a bowl. I'm going to grease a bowl lightly and grease the top lightly. Make sure you get a little bit of moistened on there. And we're going to let that proof for about an hour to an hour and a half. Just a lot of butter in here, so this might take a little bit. It's going to double in size pretty much. While we wait for this to proof, we're going to go and make our filling here with sugar, brown sugar, then a pinch of nutmeg. A little bit of a nutmeg goes a long way here, and then we're going to use some cinnamon. We're going to give this a good mix up. I also have some ground up espresso powder that I threw in here. That's optional, don't have to. And then we're going to go and take some butter out and let that soften. We want to get this pretty soft. After the hour and a half or so, when it doubles, we're going to get going and start rolling this out. Now that we're back and we have some softened butter, we're going to take this dough, we're going to form it into a loose square, and we're going to roll this out to I did mine a quarter inch or so. I did mine from a quarter inch to a half an inch thick. And we're going to take that softened butter, we're going to give it a nice rub down edge to edge on this side. And then we're going to go ahead and go crazy with our mixture. Put as much as you want on there, more the merrier. This is optional. I went and took some walnuts and crushed them up. You can also use pecans if you want. Crushed them up, gave them a little toast, and threw them in the inside to give a little bit of different texture in there. These are just normal. They're not salted. They're not anything with sugar, anything, just normal walnuts crushed up. Then we're gonna go and get this a nice tight roll. This is how you're gonna figure out if you're married to a stoner or not, how tight they can roll it up. So after that, we're gonna go ahead and start making and cutting our actual rolls. Here's a little secret. Dental floss uses the best, but I didn't have any in the string kind, so I just used one of my knives. Just one quick swift cut. We're gonna go ahead and put these into a pan, and after we cut them all, we're gonna let these sit for about 30 minutes before we put them into a 350 oven. So after we get them cut and proof, we're gonna bake these in a 350-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, or into a nice brown that you like. Well, you know, I like my cinnamon rolls a little bit darker. So after that, we're gonna go ahead and make a real quick buttercream frosting for here. I buttered mine, and they were still a little too warm. But here I just took some softened butter, powdered sugar, and gave it a good beat until I got a little bit of the texture I wanted, and then added a little bit of milk to give that little consistency, and that was good to go, golden. Do you want to know what's really better than a cinnamon roll? That's right, B-roll.